All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Dungeon Gambling Hour presented by the Average Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, JD Brain, alongside Grant Hurlis, and we will be taking you through some NBA, some college basketball, and talking a little bit about the tournament outlook. Okay, Grant, good to have you back. It is Thursday, March 2nd. Beautiful outside today. A little bit of cloud cover up here in Northeast Ohio. Not going to stop this show. We're going to keep rolling. Grant, how have you been?
Good. Unfortunate week, obviously, last week for
Yeah.
six-pack plays. First losing week after 6 weeks. So ready to get back on track here this week for week 7.
For sure. We're gonna get back in the green. It's we got a nice slate of games, especially on the college aspect of it. A lot of these little dances are starting to spawn up now, getting into the tournament, all these smaller conferences. And we'll definitely talk a little bit about that. But we're gonna start how we normally start these shows. We're gonna do a little NBA pick'em. Not too many games on the national scale tonight for basketball, but we got Toronto and Washington. Toronto's favored by 2 on the road in DC. I gotta say, I like this Washington squad a lot. I think they could be kind of sneaky tonight to cover this. Kind of indecisive. I haven't watched too many Wizards games, but I know obviously they got Kuzma over there, and he's always fun to watch. But Grant, I don't know really who to take in this. What do you have any edge on this game?
I don't. I think this is basically a pick 'em game.
Yeah,
I think Wizards are playing much better and probably a team that's going to end up in the East playing
yeah,
with Beal,
exactly.
Kuzma, and I think Porzingis is still
Porzingis,
there.
yeah, the unicorn's still there.
Yeah, Porzingis is still there. So I like what the Wizards have going on over there, playing much better ball than they
Yeah, they
were
have.
earlier in the year. I don't think the Cavs have seen them in a couple months,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
but they always seem to play the Cavs well. So I think you can get probably a cover here by the Wizards against the Raptors, who basically is a team full of 6'7", 6'8" wings.
Yeah,
Aren't
they're
100%. Yeah, I'm
in
not 100%
Central
sure what's going on over there. So, I think a team that doesn't have an identity versus the Wizards, who are still
still
still playing
fighting
for something. Yeah, still playing for something. I like the Wizards to cover at home.
for sure. We're gonna move on now to which could be, could have been a couple of marquee players in the Eastern Conference Finals. Kyrie has now moved on to the Mavericks, but 76ers are visiting the Mavericks down in Dallas. And this new Kyrie squad with the Mavericks and Luka, it's been really, really interesting to see unfold. And Kyrie is just so gifted as a playmaker. He is like he can elevate everyone's team. My only worry is when do the wheels fall off for this organization? Because we know the Kyrie Irving effect tends to lead to these kinds of outcomes. And we saw it in Cleveland, we saw it in Boston, we saw it in Brooklyn. And I wonder if they can make it through this season without a Kyrie Irving meltdown. We shall see. I'm actually all right. Laying 4 points here against the Sixers. Sixers have had a tough couple of games. I know the Boston game that was. Did you get to see that, Grant, at all? That buzzer beater that didn't count. It was.
I did.
It was pretty incredible.
Embiid's
Well,
three-quarter court throw. Yeah,
yeah,
I
it
did.
was a tough loss for them there. And I know as a we're Cavs fans, I don't want to see Philadelphia. It looks like we're probably going to see them in the second round, but that's one team I don't want to. We do not match up with them well. But I do think the Mavericks match up great against the Sixers. I'm all right laying the 4 points. They're at home. Kyrie's still going to play. It's going to be status quo for him. He's a playmaker. He elevates his teammates. Grant, what do you think about Mavericks hosting the Sixers?
So the biggest question kind of with this game is Embiid's status. He's
Yeah.
game time decision for tonight. I actually have this game in my 6-pack, so I'm not going
Okay.
to reveal too much on
That's
this
fine.
yet. But I mean, we know how Kyrie works everywhere. Everywhere he goes, it seemingly doesn't work out the way it's expected. I think everybody kind of knows Dallas is just kind of a rental.
Yeah.
Currently for Kyrie. It's going to be interesting to see, further down the road how Luka and Kyrie, how that
How they can
chemistry
mesh
works
together,
there.
of
Yeah,
course.
essentially what Luka is a point forward.
Yeah.
Kind of that LeBron type player where, he's 6'8", but he's basically bringing up the ball every single time up the court, and the offense runs through him. So it's going to be interesting to see how a ball dominant guard like Kyrie works with him. Um, doesn't seem like they've had too much success um, since Kyrie's been over there, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I think this is an interesting game for sure, and I think it's best to probably wait on that Embiid status for tonight.
Definitely. I think you make a great point with Luca and the whole point forward mold. And I think, LeBron really revolutionized the game. He would always, announce himself and say, look, I'm not just a small forward. I can play the five, I can play the one, bring the ball up the floor. And it's so when you have an athlete like that, it just makes coaching that team so much easier. It makes fitting guys to fit your mold that much easier. And I wouldn't be surprised if I don't think he's going to win it this year, obviously, but in the next couple of years, he's in some serious MVP conversations, first, second, and third. I think it's very viable for him. He's got to stay healthy, and they got to do some stuff in the playoffs. I got to see them get to the Western Conference Finals and put together a little fight. They've always the Mavericks teams ever since the LeBron Finals in was it 2011. They've always seemed to kind of flame out in the first or second round every year. So it's a little hard for me. And we talked about a few episodes previously. MVP is a regular season award, but at the end of the day, as a fan, you want your team to do the best in the postseason. And I think Luke is good enough to elevate this team. We'll see how it works out with Kyrie. I'll be interested to see come April and May. But we're going to now move to, as I'm actually looking over, the lines are locking, they're moving. I was glancing over while you were talking, it was at 6.5. Now it's at 6. So I don't know what's happening. Pacers at Spurs, two teams that are really not too great, if I'm going to be honest. Spurs are definitely going to get their tank on for Wembenyama. So Wembenyama. Sorry, can't pronounce that name yet. I'll get to it. But it's gonna be interesting to see how it folds out. You got 4 or 5 teams right now that are vying for that number one spot, and Spurs are obviously one of them. I don't know how this whole season's gonna go because Pop is a great coach, but he's also getting up there in age. You wonder if he's going to take a lesser role, maybe hop into a little bit of management. I don't know. I barely see the Spurs on. I think the last time I watched them, they were playing in the Alamo Dome against
Yeah.
the Warriors. But honestly, not too much insight on this game. I got to say, I love Halliburton. I think he's a young star in our league. Really, really good player for the Pacers. I'm gonna lay the points -6 on the road. I'm all right with it. Spurs are a losing team. Pacers are almost a little bit better, but they're kind of in the same boat. But I love Halliburton. I think he's got a chance to be really special in this league. And it just didn't work out for the Kings. Grant, do you have any insight on Pacers Spurs?
Yeah, I like Pacers too here. I like the spread on them. The
For sure.
Spurs obviously are the worst team in the league right now. So anytime you can get it does scare me a little bit them being on the road, the Pacers being on the road, but um to me the Pacers are kind of a young team looking to prove themselves. Very young core with, Matherin. Uh
Buddy.
yeah, Buddy. You got Buddy. And then obviously you have Nemhard and a couple other guys. So young team on the road. It worries me a little bit, but I like just the talent of the Pacers and the coaching of the Pacers to take them over the top. 6 is a lot on the road, but with the Pacers team, I'm comfortable laying against the worst team in the league that is tanking for Victor.
For sure, for sure. And then we got the nightcap. The Clippers are visiting San Francisco, going to play the Warriors. Warriors right now are underdogs at +3.5. They got to get healthy. That's the thing. I always love the Warriors in this area of the season, especially going back the past 2 years. They always seem like in March, they go like 20-4 every March. They're usually pretty potent, but they got to get healthy. I'm staying away from this game as a better myself, just because Warriors at home are really tough to beat, and we've known that all year, especially with Poole, DiVincenzo. These guys are coming off the bench. I know Kaminga's doing a nice job. Looney's a stud in there. The guy from Horizon League, Patrick Baldwin, he got a few minutes a couple nights ago. They got a really nice young core, and credit to I want to say Bob Myers, it's their GM's name. He does a really nice job drafting guys and making homegrown talent from their picks and their prospects coming up. I'm personally staying away from this. I would lean Clippers, if I were to bet, just to lean, I'm not too confident in anything at all. Like I said, Clippers are favored by 3.5. Um, Grant, what do you like?
I like Clippers here too. I think Poole is also actually a game time decision. I'm not
Yeah,
100%
yes.
positive of that, but I'm pretty sure I just like Poole was a game time decision for
Yeah,
that.
obviously
To me, if
Curry's
they
still
don't,
out. Yeah,
yeah, it does seem like this team doesn't really matter. Curry's out, who's out. They seem to figure it out anyways, but without, the firepower of Poole
yeah,
and Curry, it worries me a little bit. But like you said, this team always seems to get healthy at the correct time. They get hurt. It seems like, you never want to see a player get hurt, but it seems like they always are getting
yeah.
hurt at the right times they have to. A couple years ago, obviously, you had a team with, when Poole's a rookie,
Hmm.
that team was very, very bad, but they ended up tanking
Yeah.
basically and got the Wiseman pick out
Wiseman
of it.
pick. Yeah,
Yeah, the Wiseman pick, which turned out to work out pretty good for them. So I'd probably lean Clippers 2 here. The Clippers just have more firepower. You never know with the Clippers. They're kind of a Jackal and Hyde team.
yeah,
On the road, who knows? I can't figure out if they. I can't figure out what the deal is with them. Sometimes they play great. They look like the best team in the league, and then other times they look
yeah.
like
Like
they
awful
couldn't stop anybody. So I'd probably lean Clippers here too, but I'd probably stay away from this game in general.
for sure, for sure. We're gonna take a quick break here at the dungeon, but when we get back, we're gonna talk a little college hoops, and we'll get you right into the six pack. All right, so that wraps up our NBA picks for the night. We're going to transition now to the college basketball scene. And we got a couple of top ranked teams in action. We're going to talk about a little Houston, a little Purdue, and a little UCLA. And we'll start with number one team in the country, Houston. They're hosting Wichita State, getting a big number tonight, minus 16 and a half. It's a tall task for them to cover. And they've been kind of all over the map fighting these spreads all year. They're getting huge numbers, obviously playing in a little weaker conference and playing some of these teams. It is expected. And we'll see how the Cougars can do tonight. I will say I'm actually all right laying 16 and a half. You know, this team's getting ready for March. It's still a tune up for them basically. And even though it's a big number, I'm going to throw it over to you, Grant, because you brought up a really good point before about how this team has the ability to cover spreads.
Yeah. As like an early sports better, and you see these big spreads, you see these big lines. I literally think Gonzaga was a 27, 28 point favorite last night against Chicago State, and they still covered. They won
Yeah.
by 39. So getting into sports betting, for some beginners, don't be scared by these big spreads. Teams like Houston, teams will keep it close. They're playing with the big dogs. They'll keep it close for probably, 15, 16 minutes, but then they'll finish. Usually Houston finishes on a second. They're a very good first half team. So they
Yeah.
finish first halves on very good runs, usually up, 10, 15 points. And to cover 18 at that point is just NATO run. And that's what Houston is. They're smothering defense. If Wichita State can't get out, think that they're going to be in the game, probably morale's going to be low and they're probably going to get blown out. So don't be worried, scared away by these big spreads. Houston has been getting big spreads all year, like you've said, JD, and it seems like they manage to cover it, 60,
Yeah.
70% of the time. And Vegas knows that they can cover the spread. That's why it's at minus 110.
Yeah.
There's a reason the spread's that big. It's
Exactly.
not, yeah, it's not to, pressure. What it is to pressure bettors and to take that Wichita State
Wichita.
side, which you think, oh, it's too big. Wichita State, pretty decent team, can cover. Houston, I'm sure finds a way to cover tonight,
Yeah.
even at that big margin.
I love it. I love it. We're going to flip to the West Coast in a Pac-12 matchup. Arizona State visiting UCLA. UCLA is so fun to watch. They're going to be really dangerous coming into the tournament this year. Pretty much returning, I think, three starters I know from the national semifinal team a couple years ago where they lost to Gonzaga at the buzzer. Um, Johnny Juzang, he is incredible, and him he's gonna be him and Tiger. They gotta be on the all time like on the Mount Rushmore of NCAA. How the hell are you still in college? Those two guys, Tiger Campbell and Juzang. I don't know how they're still at UCLA. It feels like they've been there for 8
Yeah,
years. It was always like that, some guys, and I feel that
Perry
about
Ellis,
Timmy too. Yeah, Perry Ellis. Wow. Oh
Perry
my
Ellis, and
God. Perry Ellis. That's right. Jesus Christ. But yeah, this team's fun to watch. I think they're going to cover tonight. They're favored by 10.5 points. Arizona State stinks.
Yeah,
I think UCLA's got this in the bag. I'm confident with that. Grant, do you got any other thing you want to add to this
I
game?
don't. I don't know much about UCLA. I
I
really
got you.
don't. I've watched Arizona State a couple times. It seems like you're complete bricklayers. Can't shoot.
They're
Um,
awful.
yeah, but I mean, that being said, I'm sure anybody who takes UCLA's side,
Yeah,
Arizona is just going to shoot the lights out in the
of
first half,
course.
go up, and make it tough for UCLA to cover. But UCLA, I think, does have the firepower to
Yeah,
cover tonight. They at home. I think UCLA is at home tonight.
yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah, UCLA at home. I like UCLA at home. I think it's a tough place to play in the
Yeah,
pack. Um, Important game, closeout game for UCLA. Probably considered senior day, maybe for some.
I was gonna
I
say,
know
yeah,
that's a big thing to factor into some of these games that people don't look at. For these last home games, these are almost all senior night, senior day games for these some of these guys. So how
yeah,
that affects spreads, I mean, you got to look into it, see some of these seniors are playing, but these guys are going to be playing with some extra motivation, extra edge, and I love Hurley from Arizona State, but I haven't seen it from Arizona State. I've watched them go one for
yeah.
10, 1 for 12 from the 3 point line, and they just
Yeah.
can't seem to shoot their way into games.
Yeah, we'll roll with Mick Ronan tonight. I think it's going to be a Bruins win, and I will say it's a great point about the senior night. Unless you're a Kentucky fan, then you just roll over and
Yeah,
lose to Vanderbilt for the first time in
that's
like
right. Yeah,
57 years.
Vandy's no slouch though. I'll
No,
say
they're
Vandy is
not.
no slouch. I like
I
Vandy
will
a
say
lot.
I'm holding. I'm kind of proud of this one, but it's probably going to bite me in the ass. I'm going to look like a dummy. I'm holding a 75-1 Kentucky national championship winner
All right.
ticket right now, so we'll see how that goes. Threw a couple bucks on it, and of course, it was so funny after Sister Jean made that comment. They literally went from 75-1 to 35-1.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
but I got my ticket week and a half ago, so I'm holding a 75-1 ticket. Hopefully, they can get it done. Um, they're Kentucky's like, I know this isn't Kentucky segment, and I'll be real quick about this, but it's like they still have 5 stars. Like they're not just like
Yeah.
getting bums off the street. They just don't know how to play. Um, but it is what it is. Let's move on now to Big Ten matchup. Always going to be a close game, and Vegas is reflecting that. Purdue is visiting the Kohl Center and playing Wisconsin. Purdue's 4.5 point favorites. It actually moved while we were recording this. They started off at -4. Now they're at -4.5, and -102. Now, this is part of my 6 pack, so I'm going to let Grant, if you want to take it away, put a little insight into it. I'm not going to give too much away, but Purdue visiting Wisconsin, favorited by 4.5. Who do you like?
It's an interesting game. It seems a little trappy, but with the line moving, it's kind of a good sign for Purdue bettors.
Yeah.
Um, I know it's not a very, profitable play, but to me, if you like Purdue, just take a money line. I
Money
wouldn't
line.
risk
Yeah.
yeah, I think Purdue definitely wins this game. Cover worries me with
It's tough.
Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin at home. Any Big Ten team at
Yeah.
home is seemingly. I mean, we saw it with Ohio State a couple days ago against Maryland.
Yeah.
Ohio State like favored by 1.5 points to a 20-win Maryland squad. So
Yeah.
Vegas knows how big. I mean, honestly, I think Big Ten probably has the biggest home court advantage in
Yeah.
college basketball, maybe other than like SEC. And even as some SEC schools don't have
Yeah.
very
They don't
good
get.
home court. Definitely not some of the games we've been watching have very good home court advantage, like St.
No
Francis, Brooklyn.
Central Kentucky, or was it Central Connecticut State?
Yes, St. Francis, Mountain West has
Mountain West.
terrible home.
Yeah.
But getting back to Big Ten, I think home court advantage is big. Remember, you probably get 2 or 3 points for just being in the
Yes.
home team. So you
Yeah.
probably see, Vegas is really seeing Purdue as a 6, 7 point favorite. A 6 or 7 point favorite at -190 or -200. It's not terrible odds, I don't think. For obviously laying some juice there at
Of
-200, but
course.
I don't see Purdue losing this game.
Yeah. I don't
I think
either.
they've got too much firepower. I love their little guards, and
Yeah.
obviously you have the big man in the middle.
Yeah. They do a
You can
really
basically
nice
score any
job.
single time he touches it. So
Yeah.
I won't go much into a pick either because I'm probably gonna watch that game,
Hmm.
but I probably won't have any money on it. Not a game I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Um, that's about it for that game.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just going to quickly talk about my Cleveland State Vikings. They are opening up tonight in the Horizon League quarterfinals. We're hosting Robert Morris at the Wolstein Center. And I was at this game last year when we played Robert Morris. It was an absolute shit show. I don't know if you've ever heard about this game or not. Our clock went out. We had no clock and no shot clock. So they wheeled in the, I don't know, 1 foot by foot and a half scoreboard, like at AAU tournaments. And they used that for a
Yeah.
fucking Horizon League quarterfinal game. It was about the worst thing I've ever seen. Game was delayed over 45 minutes. It was an all-time night. I know me and my roommate, we had a good time. Robert Morris has got this guy named Cheeks. His last name's Cheeks. He has to be related to Mo Cheeks. There's no way he's not. I don't know how there's two Cheeks that are good at
Is it
basketball.
Enoch Cheeks?
It is
that
Enoch
what?
Cheeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So this Robert Morris squad, I'm not going to go much into it because you know Cleveland State and Horizon League better than me, but this is a Robert Morris team that knocked off YSU, right? Couple weekends ago.
Yeah.
I think maybe last weekend. I can't
Trying
remember.
to play spoiler last weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Robert Morris is no team to mess with. I do think Cleveland State is going to win tonight. I got to be honest, I'm not confident enough. They're favored by 6.5. I'm not really too confident. This game last year was pretty close. I want to say I can't really remember. And on the other side, I'll talk about the other games. I like Milwaukee over Wright State. I think they're going to take care of business on their home court. Youngstown State, I think they're going to win. They're at the Ice Cast at the Beagley Center. Going to be playing Detroit Mercy. Shout out to Antoine, I don't know his name, honestly, Davis from Detroit. He's got to get 26 or 27 tonight to break Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record in college. So looking forward to that. I hope he does it. Hopefully they get a win. I don't want to see YSU in the next round, so hopefully they can knock them off. And then I want to say the 7 o'clock game, let me scroll down to it, is Oakland visiting Northern Kentucky. I like Northern Kentucky. Really nice squad. Got a really nice gym floor. You can't bet against a team who has a nice gym floor. It's just how it goes. So, yeah, that's it for the Horizon League picks. Pulling for my Vikings. If you don't have a dog in the race, pull for the Vikings. First-year head coach. All the guys left last year. Underdog story. And we're going to be dangerous in March, I'm telling you. But yeah, that's going to do it for the college basketball segment. And when we come back from break, we'll hit you guys with the six pack. All right, everyone, it's six pack time. We're going to get back in the green this week. Had a tough week last week, but I will say we were able to salvage 2 wins out of it. It wasn't a terrible week, honestly, with all things considered. Able to get to 2-4, it really didn't kill us that bad, if I'm going to be honest, moved what's that now, 21-15, still in the green, still above that 54%, 55% mark. We're going to be all right, and we're going to get some winners out to you tonight. Grant, I want you to open up with your first pick.
I'm just going to go back to NHL and, disclaimer, not the best esports pick on my spotlight. So some of you guys viewers didn't know, hopefully you guys didn't get that in. I mean, the books that you would have had to bet that on is probably wouldn't have had it because it was some overseas books, but I believe that was already started by the time we were believe that game had already started, and Honors got their asses absolutely handed to them on maps that I thought they would kill them on CSGO. But not a big deal. We're moving on. We're going to get into some NHL today, NBA and NCAA for me. I'm going to go with Toronto Maple League tonight, the money line.
Gotcha.
So they're going to be hosted by Calgary. This is the second and final time they've played them this year. The first game was a nail biter in Toronto that the Leafs pulled through, and the Flames really haven't looked very good as of late. And I think the Leafs have just a better roster overall. And I think the Maple Leafs will, be kicking into high gear after an embarrassing performance against the Oilers earlier this week. And I really love the odds here. So yeah, best of luck to anybody who tails this. Hopefully we get a better turnout on my picks. I think I went 0-3.
Yeah, we're all right.
So
it happens.
Yeah, I'm looking to right the ship. You picked up the slack, went 2-1.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, due to Honors getting absolutely wiped by getting shit on, that was not good.
It was bad.
Maple Leafs -115 tonight, so pretty good odds on that.
Cool. Very good. I gotta ask you, I don't know, are you picking in regulation or just straight up?
We're going straight up money line. So,
okay, I got you.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, because I'm going to
I've
go
been
with
burnt too many times on
Reg.
60-minute money line.
I got
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
60,
so I'm
60 minute.
it's funny you said that. I'm going right to it. I'm going Florida Panthers in regulation, 60-minute money line, minus 130 against the Preds. You're going to pay for a little bit of juice here. Predators are really they're kind of spiraling, if I'm going to be honest. They made some trades, sent away some guys that they're really going to need. Nashville's been inconsistent all year, and they took away those pieces. And I'm all right with laying some of the juice here for the Panthers. They're a really good squad playing in South Florida. Um, I'm excited for them. They're second in expected goals per 60 minutes. It's something that I look forward to in these games. Usually you can get a team in the minus 190 to minus 210 range and bet them to win in overtime, and you can get down to minus 130, minus 120. That's exactly what I'm doing in this spot. I like the Panthers here. They have a better team, better coaching staff, and they've had a better season thus far. So I'm rolling with the Panthers, and I think it's going to be a lock for tonight. Grant, pick three.
Yeah, pick three. My second pick, I'm going to go with Stanford, minus 5.5
Okay.
against OSU, Oregon State tonight. Late night game, obviously West Coast game, 9 o'clock. So the last time they played in January, Stanford won this game by 21 points. And the road team, between these two teams is 9-3, and Stanford's away. So that's neither team really has a home court advantage worth the extra points on the spread. Oregon averages 61 points a game, under 40% shooting, so poor shooting numbers. They've lost 13 of their last 16. Stanford, on the other hand, not a great team in Stanford, but they are averaging 70 points a game on 45% shooting. 56 in the country, which is pretty decent numbers for kind of a mediocre Stanford team, and they've covered 5 out of the 6 games against the spread against Oregon State. And I know a lot of people, and I've even made this argument before, the last 6 times they played Oregon State has no effect whatsoever
it doesn't
on this game.
But
it's something to consider. It's something to consider.
Is.
Maybe they play Oregon State well. I like the road team here to cover. 5.5, not a lot of points. Another thing for first time rookie sports bettors who are just getting into this stuff. 5.5 seems like a decent amount, but late game when you're up 4 or 5, there's so much late game fouling. Obviously, you're now trusting 19, 20-year-olds hitting free throws, which
they're just kids.
Yeah, they're just kids. So we know how it goes sometimes, and unfortunately, it doesn't swing your way. But it's been a lot of backdoor covers on free throws, at least from what I've seen. Backdoor cover last night, Texas against TCU.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was on a 3. It wasn't on free throws, but TCU missed some free throws down the stretch, and it costed them, probably covering the spread.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna stay in college hoops. Houston versus Wichita State. I'm going over 132.5. Shockers coming off of a really nice win against Tulane last week. They won 83-76 as 6-point underdog. So they've been playing well. I love getting teams who get big wins and then just kind of throwing them in next week, whether it be betting against them or taking, over unders, everything like that. Hot teams are fun. They're trendy in college basketball. And it seems like it's a sport where you can stay hot for the shortest amount of time, if that makes any sense. Like, it's really hard in college basketball to have an extended game of a 5-6, game spurt of scoring and stuff like that. So that's why I'm sticking close to it. If this was trending for 5 or 6 games, I might stay away from it. But they've done a really, really nice job. The over has cashed a bunch for them this year. They got a really nice offense. And last time out against Houston, it was 70-61, and they lost. They kept it close, which I think for this game to go over, it's going to have to stay close. It's going to be right around the 130 mark. So it might be a little sweaty down the stretch. The AAC is known for this. Houston is known for this 130 range every single game. And they play really, really good defense, but you're hoping this gets you to 70-65 or 72-64, something along those lines that can really elevate you to get this over. It's going to be tough sledding, I'm not going to lie. But the Cougars last time out shot 45% from the field against Wichita, and they were 87% from the line. They're going to make the free throws, and that's what you really need out of covering overs in college basketball. Teams that can shoot free throws proficiently. And I think Houston's going to be able to do that tonight. Wichita's going to have a little something to play for. especially winding down at the tail end of the season. These guys don't want to go on an L, and they want to beat the number one team in the country. So a little bit of added value there. But yeah, I like Houston versus Wichita State over 132.5. Grant, pick 5, please.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with an NBA pick here with my last pick. Um, I like 76ers money line tonight. Embiid, if he does play, is going to be rested. And the Sixers are kind of a well-oiled machine with Doc Rivers, while Dallas is still kind of learning how to play with each other, with Kyrie, Luka, how that's all going to fit. Got a couple new pieces, obviously. So the money line odds are, so good because it's back to back. But my logic is that, since it was a blowout last night against Miami, Embiid's fully rested for tonight. Obviously, the con of that may be that he sits out tonight for some rest. But I just don't see a world where, if the 76ers play even 80 to 85% of what their usual standard is, that they can't walk away with the win tonight. And I'm almost positive that Embiid will play tonight. I don't see Embiid, to me, they're still vying for that 2, 3, 4 spot in the East. So to me, you can't be taking games off. Obviously, it's a West Coast team, so it doesn't affect you too much. But, I still think the 76ers can get it done tonight.
Yeah, of course. I love it. And I'm going to say in college hoops, I'm going Purdue -4.5 at -102, almost even money versus Wisconsin. Purdue has been struggling lately, so I expect this to be a bounce back game for them. Obviously they got swept by Indiana last week. Not a great look for them. Indiana's a really tough squad, though, I will say. And Purdue has lost 4 out of their past 6 games overall. And they're at some serious danger of blowing this number 1 seed in the tournament. They need a win tonight and a statement win going up to Madison. And I think they're going to get it done tonight. Really love Zach Edey, what he does. As long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think this should be a pretty sweat-free cover for the most part. I know, like we said earlier, Big Ten games are going to be close, but I'm okay with it tonight. I really am. Against the spread, in their last 10, Wisconsin's 2-7-1. They've been spiraling. They're struggling to cover. And in their past 18 games, they're 4-13-1. This team is really shit's hitting the fan for them. Not a great season from Wisconsin. I know they're kind of sitting on the bubble right now, trying to get in. Something to be kind of cautious about, but I think Purdue's going to need a statement win tonight, kick Wisconsin out, get them out of the tournament, and or the NCAA tournament, I should say, sitting on the bubble. And I think Purdue's going to get it done tonight. But yeah, that's about it for the 6-pack. I think we're going to get out some winners this week. We'll get back in the green, and I feel like this is going to be a good week. Grant, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
I like
agree.
it
I
a
think
lot.
I like getting back in the green here this week. I think obviously after a rough week, getting back into, what I'm good at, what you're good at,
Yeah,
college
bread and butter.
basketball. Yeah, our bread and butter. And this is a fun time to be betting. So keep betting, guys. 90% of the gamblers, that I know quit before the big win. And I see a big win this week. We still haven't had that elusive 6-0 week.
I know.
We don't want to talk it into existence, but I like our chances this week definitely to be back in the green.
Love it.
So tail, guys.
Love it, guys. Yeah, thank you all for listening. It's been fun. We've had a lot of good conversations, good interactions, and we're gonna keep grinding these out, man. Another week closer to March Madness, and that's gonna be a fun time of the year, of course. And we'll see where this journey takes us.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you for everyone who watches, listens. Make sure you hit us up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all your platforms, wherever you get your podcast from. Give us a listen there. Give us a comment. Give us a rate. We really do appreciate it. And yeah, thanks, Grant, for coming on. And
Yep, sure.
we'll see you guys next week. Peace.